Hi, my name is Elizabeth Wagner. I'm a hand weaver and a textile designer. Welcome to my channel, Illumination. Through a series of videos, I'm taking a beginning weaver from the very start of a project to the very end. And in this video, I'm finishing my explanation of how to slay the reed, or how to start threading your warp through your loom from the front to the back. Now, the project that I've decided to do is an 8-inch wide ladies alpaca scarf. In order to get 8 inches wide for the finished scarf, we're going to make it a little bit bigger because it is made out of wool, or alpaca is a type of wool, and it'll shrink and draw in a little bit when we do the weaving process. So in my last video, I explained how to hold the warp in your hand after you measured it on your warping board or your warping reel. And now I'm going to start to show you how to slay the reed one dent at a time. So what I do is, as I described before, hold the warp in my hand with the cross in the middle, and a finger on in between each section, so that you keep those sections separate. The whole point of having the cross is that the individual pieces of yarn or warp ends are stacked on top of each other in a crisscross or an X, so that you know which one is next in order. So this one would be the first one to go on into the reed, and this one would be the next one to go into the reed, and this one would be the next one, and so on and so forth. So you know that they're stacked on top of each other, and right where they intersect is actually who's next. Sometimes they'll get crisscrossed. Don't go by which piece of yarn down here looks like it's next. Go by the order that they intersect in. So what I'm going to do is come to the reed, and for this particular project I want 12 ends in 1 inch. If you have a 12 dent reed, then you just have to slay 1 warp end in each dent. But I have a 6 dent reed, so I have to have 2 ends in each dent, and that'll give me 12 ends in 1 inch. So I have a little hook here, and it's just a little brass hook. You can buy them in any weaving supply place, but it helps you pull the yarn through the slots in the reed. And I've measured on my reed, because it's a 50-inch wide reed, and I'm going to have a 9-inch wide weaving width. That leaves me with 41 inches of reed that I won't be using to weave with. So I've put my 9 inches in the middle of the reed, and I've calculated that I will have approximately 20 inches of unused reed on this side of my weaving and 20 inches of unused reed on this side. So I've measured from the end of my reed in to about 20 inches, and that's right here. It doesn't have to be perfectly exact, just to get you kind of in the middle so you're not weaving on the end of your loom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hook in the slot that I want to begin in, and just hook the yarn over the hook and pull it back through the slot or the dent. And then you want to kind of pull it all the way so that it hangs down in the back. And you can move this warp right here up and down on the breast beam if you want. Now, I told you I needed 2 ends in 1 slot or 1 dent, just because of the size of the reed that I have, because I only have 6 slots per inch. Again, if you have a 12 dent reed, you can put one end in each slot. So there's another one in the same exact slot, the same dent. So I'm going to do this again. This is the next yarn in my series of warp ends, and I want to go to the next dent, put the hook in, hook the yarn around and pull it through. And I'm going to put the next one in the same one, and you can see this is the next one to go. So I'm going to put it back through the same slot and take the next yarn and pull it through. And just pull it all the way so that it doesn't fall back out the front. Okay, so next slot, I want to put this next yarn through. And the same slot, I'm going to put another one through. Just keep it in order of where they intersect. And now I'm just going to, since I know I want two ends in each slot, I'm going to take two at a time. You can do one at a time until you get the hang of it a little bit better, but as I go, I know every slot's going to get two in my particular reed. So I'm picking up two ends in each dent. So I'm going to just keep going like this all the way down until I'm finished with the warp. And don't panic if for some reason you feel like you picked up something out of order, because we don't have any stripes or any color differentiations or anything in the warp. So this is just really to help you make it easier for you to warp in a organized way. But if you accidentally pulled this one and put it next, it's not going to make a big deal. Just keep going. So again, I'm going to put the hook through the slot, take the next warp end and pull it through. The hook through the slot, and here's the next warp end right here. I'm going to pull it through. So I'm going to come back and show you the rest of the process after I've gone through the whole thing, so you don't have to watch me do this entire warping. And we'll be back in a few minutes when I'm done and show you the end. So I'm finished slaying the reed with my warp, and you can see that from the first slot to the last slot it's exactly 9 inches, and that's going to be the weaving width. And you can see in the back here how the warp ends were pulled through and they're just hanging down. And the next video will be showing you how to thread all of the warp ends through the heddles on the shafts. So again, if you have another size reed, if you have an 8 dent reed and you want 12 ends per inch, you'll need to slay the reed with 1, 2, 1, 2 sequence. That means the first slot you'll put 1 end, the second slot you'll put 2 ends, the third dent you'll put 1 end, the fourth dent you'll put 2 ends, and so on. And that'll give you, in an 8 dent reed, that'll give you 12 ends per inch. In a 9 dent reed, it would be 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, and that will give you 12 ends per inch in a 9 dent reed. So depending on what size reed you have, you'll have a different sequence or number of ends in each slot. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you again for the next video where we thread the heddles. Thank you.